You see the headlines, you hear the stories, traders pulling in 6 or 7 figures, what feels like a pro athlete's salary, and you can't help but think, why isn't that me? You've bought the courses, you've tried every indicator, you've stared at charts until your eyes burned, but here's the secret. The key to getting paid like a pro isn't on your charts. It's not some magic formula. The real secret is that you're playing the wrong game. The reason pro traders can earn those huge paychecks is because they train like elite athletes. They don't treat trading like a lottery ticket, they treat it like a professional sport. Think about it, in both fields, you're judged by your daily performance. In both arenas, split-second decisions under immense pressure can make or break a career. The amateur shows up to the market hoping for a lucky break. They trade on emotion, they chase wins, and they get absolutely crushed by their losses. They're like a fan in the stands, betting on a team they don't even understand. The pro, on the other hand, doesn't hope, they prepare. They know that long-term success isn't about one heroic trade. It's about brutal discipline, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to a structured routine. It's no surprise that many Wall Street firms and financial advisors value the traits found in former elite athletes, like discipline, resilience, and grace under pressure. They understand this critical connection. Success isn't just about talent, it's about process. Today, we're not talking about indicators. We're talking about the training regimen that separates the 99% who fail from the 1% who get paid. This is the athlete's framework, and it's built on 4 pillars. The pre-game plan, execution under pressure, the post-game review, and the off-season. An athlete would never just wander onto the field without a game plan. A quarterback knows the plays. A fighter has studied their opponent. So why do so many traders just wake up, flick on their computer, and start clicking buttons based on a hunch? This is the first place the hobbyist gets wiped out. They trade reactively. The professional trades proactively. Their workday starts hours before the market even opens, with a non-negotiable pre-market routine. This isn't just about looking at charts, it's about building a mental fortress for the day ahead. First, the pro scans the entire landscape. They check overnight markets. How did Asia and Europe perform? They look at the economic calendar for any big news releases, like inflation data or central bank announcements that could rocket the market in either direction. The goal isn't to predict the news, but to prepare for the chaos so they aren't caught off guard. Next, they build their personal game plan. This is where the real work begins. They identify the specific chart setups that align with their proven strategy. They map out key support and resistance levels, the battlegrounds where they expect to fight. They are not looking for any trade, they are hunting for their trade. This eliminates indecision when the pressure is on, and just as important, this is a mental workout. Many elite traders use mindfulness, meditation, or simple breathing exercises. A 10-minute session to clear your head can be the difference between a logical decision and a fearful reaction. They set goals for their process, like I will follow my plan on every single trade, instead of goals for the outcome, like I will make $1,000. This shifts the focus from what the market gives you to the one thing you can control, your own actions. The hobbyist skips all this, dives in, and gets tossed around by the waves. The pro spends an hour sharpening their axe, so when it's time to swing, the cut is clean. They don't rise to the occasion, they fall back on their training. The opening bell rings. The market explodes with noise, volatility, and raw emotion. This is it. The vast majority of trading mistakes are made right here, not from a bad strategy, but from a complete failure of emotional control. It's the penalty kick in the final minute. The roar of the crowd is deafening. Do you stick to your plan, or do you crack under the pressure? Pro traders win here because they know they aren't trading the market, they are trading their own behavior. That pre-market game plan is their anchor. They've already defined their entries, their exits, and most importantly, their risk. The single most important rule is to follow that plan. No exceptions. This is where the amateur crumbles. They see a price take off without them and get hit with a tidal wave of FOMO, the fear of missing out. They jump into a trade that doesn't fit their rules. Or worse, they take a loss and are instantly blinded by revenge. They force another trade, breaking all their rules to try and get back at the market, and that's a fight the market always wins. A professional trader, like a pro athlete, stays detached. They've accepted that losses are just part of the game, like a baseball player who knows they won't get a hit every time. A loss isn't a personal failure, it's just feedback. It's a data point because they've defined their risk in advance, usually no more than 1 to 2% of their capital on a single trade. No single loss can cripple them emotionally or financially. They use systems to force this discipline. They use hard stop-loss orders to automatically exit when a trade goes wrong. They set alerts for their price levels so they aren't glued to the screen, hypnotized by every tick, and if they feel their emotions taking over after a couple of losses, they have the discipline to just walk away. An athlete who plays injured risks their career. A trader who trades angry risks their entire account. Shutting it down isn't weakness, it's the ultimate pro move. The hobbyist rides the emotional roller coaster. The pro knows their only job is to execute the plan they made when they were calm and rational. That's it, that's the job. If this shift in perspective is clicking for you, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're not about selling secret indicators here. We're about building the professional habits that actually lead to success. And drop a comment below with the one emotional mistake, FOMO. Revenge trading, whatever that you struggle with the most. Acknowledging it is the first step. The trading day ends, but for the true professional, the work is just getting started. The greatest athletes on the planet are famous for one thing. They are obsessed with reviewing their game footage. They analyze every success and every mistake to find an edge. Pro traders do the exact same thing with a meticulous trading journal. This is probably the single most critical habit that separates the pros from the amateurs, and it's the one most people skip because it feels like work. It is. It's the work that pays off. The hobbyist ends their day by looking at their profit or loss. If it's green, they feel like a genius. If it's red, the market was unfair. Their analysis is shallow and worthless. The professional's analysis is all about process. Their journal isn't just a list of wins and losses. For every single trade, they document everything. They screenshot the chart. They write down why they took the trade and whether it perfectly matched their game plan. They note their emotional state. Were they calm, or were they feeling impatient or greedy? They measure their success for the day not by P and L, but by their discipline. Did I follow my rules on every trade? A winning trade where they broke their rules is a failure because it reinforces bad habits. A losing trade where they followed their plan perfectly is a success because it reinforces the discipline that leads to long-term profitability. Over weeks and months, that journal becomes a goldmine of data on their own behavior. Patterns jump out. Wow, I lose money almost every Friday afternoon. I always seem to revenge trade after 2 losses in a row. This isn't guessing, it's hard data on your own psychological triggers. You can't fix what you refuse to look at. This review process turns losses into lessons. It turns failure into fuel. The hobbyist makes the same mistakes forever because they never analyze them. The pro systematically finds and eliminates their weaknesses, constantly sharpening their edge. A champion doesn't stop training in the off-season. That's when they sharpen their skills and work on their weaknesses. It's the same for a trader. The market closes every day, but a professional's work never really stops. For a trader, this off-season means a few things. First, backtesting and strategy refinement. Markets change. A strategy that killed it last year might be dead this year. Pros spend their weekends in the lab, testing new ideas on historical data and trying to break their own strategies in a simulated environment before they risk a single dollar. They are always learning, always adapting. Second, they treat their body and mind like assets because they are. You can't make sharp decisions if you're exhausted and stressed. Top traders are serious about sleep, exercise, and nutrition. They know that a morning workout can boost focus for the entire trading day. They know that 4 hours of sleep leads to bad decisions. The hobbyist thinks they can roll out of bed and compete with the sharpest minds in the world. The pro knows their lifestyle directly impacts their P and L. Finally, the off-season is about having a life outside of the charts. If your entire self-worth is tied to your account balance, you are headed for an emotional train wreck. Athletes have families and hobbies. That balance gives you perspective. It reminds you that a bad day in the market is just one day. It doesn't define you. This psychological buffer is essential for surviving a high-pressure career long-term. The amateur is consumed by the charts and burns out. The professional builds a sustainable system of habits, learning, and life that allows them to perform at a high level year after year. So why do pro traders get paid like athletes? because they earn it with the same brutal consistency and the same unwavering commitment to a professional process. They don't have a magic indicator, they have a game plan. They don't avoid emotions, they manage them with discipline. They don't fear losses, they learn from them through review, and they never, ever stop improving. Stop looking for a secret on your charts. The secret is in your routine. It's in the mirror. Start with one thing. Tomorrow, before the market opens, don't just turn on your computer. Sit down and write out a simple game plan. What is the one setup you're looking for? What is your maximum risk? Then, at the end of the day, review your trades against that plan. That is the beginning of your training. That is the first step to becoming a pro. If you're ready to stop gambling and start training, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. This channel is your new training ground. Thanks for watching, and let's get to work.